iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. Let's take a look at the box scores from Week 5 and see what we're seeing. And we'll talk about it. We'll do a Monday night preview as well. So in the Sunday night game, I was absolutely and unequivocally disgusted as someone who's rooted for the New York Giants. Eli Manning, 18 for 35, 199 yards and a touchdown against a decimated Packers secondary. Now, we've got to give kudos to the Packers' defensive line, who put a lot of pressure on Eli Manning, and the Giants' offensive line is almost as bad as the Colts. But you've got Beckham, you've got Shepard, you've got Cruz. Cruz didn't even get a target. Shepard had 7 targets, he went 2 for 14. Beckham had 12 targets, 5 for 56. It's just not good enough. Right? Running, they couldn't run the football at all, which nobody really can against the Packers. But you just expect the Giants. It was a very conservative game. I'm watching the first half thinking, you got to be kidding me. Throw the ball. Challenge them. But I guess if Eli doesn't have enough time, nothing good can happen. It was a really bad game. For Aaron Rodgers, played well. He had a couple of interceptions. 23 for 45, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. It was an efficient game. He made the right throws when he needed to. He also had 5 carries for 15 yards. I thought Eddie Lacy played very well. 11 carries for 81 yards until he got injured. I thought he played well. Randall Cobb looked terrific. 9 for 108. Devontae Adams, 5 for 85 and a touchdown. I think people are worried about him, but he looked good. And Jordy Nelson always seems to catch a touchdown in Lambeau Field. 4 for 38 and a touchdown. Richard Rodgers and Will Tye, 2 tight ends who people thought in DFS were good plays, and I know I did on Richard Rodgers, were disasters. Really disasters. All right, welcome back to Tom Brady, 406 yards and 3 touchdowns. People are like, oh, it's his first game back. I told you it was going to be 30-0 at halftime. I was a little bit off. It was 23-7. I apologize for that. LeGarrette Blount didn't look great. Cleveland's run defense was good. LeGarrette Blount got stuffed to the goal line about 3 times. But Chris Hogan really stepped up, 114 yards. I like him moving forward. Gronk, 109 yards. Marty B, 67 yards and 3 touchdowns. James White was relevant again. Julian Edelman, I mean, this is what you're going to see from New England, just, chipping away and everybody being involved. It was a really good game for them. For Cleveland, it's just a shame that they can't have one quarterback stay healthy. I really would have liked to have seen Josh McCown, but right now, Cody Kessler's injured and Whitehurst is injured, and they had to go with Terrell Pryor. Isaiah Crowell could not run the football. Gary Barnidge was the best player, 5 for 76. I told you guys that Terrell Pryor was going to do nothing this week. Remember, Belichick tries to take away what you want to do. Next week, he'll try to take away A.J. Green. That's how Belichick rolls. I'm sure I may have said this on Friday in Friday's podcast. If I didn't, you should have listened. I told you the Lions were going to win this game. I told you that when it all looks too good, it seldom is in the NFL. The Lions beat the Eagles 24-23. Matthew Stafford, 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. Theo Riddick gets 2 receiving touchdowns and looked pretty good. I'm still a little upset that they're not getting more plays. Golden Tate only 5 targets. Marvin Jones only 5 targets. Bolden only 4 targets. I need to see more there. They're very conservative there with Detroit. But, look, they ran the ball 27 times, but they only got 80 yards. Look, Philadelphia could have won this game. There's no doubt about that. But I knew the Lions were going to keep it close, and I thought they were going to win, and they did. Carson Wentz, 25 for 33, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ryan Matthews was better than I expected, but nobody runs against Detroit. You might run, but you don't get a rushing touchdown against them. Jordan Matthews, 4 for 65. Green Beckham, 3 for 43. I think the disappointment in this game was Zach Ertz, only 3 for 37, but he was 3 targets. So if they had given him the ball more, better things would have happened. Detroit is terrible against the tight end. Indianapolis against Chicago. Speaking of terrible, let's talk about the Colts offensive line. It is truly terrible. It is truly terrible. Andrew Luck got sacked 5 times. He looked like he was under pressure every play, but he still went 28 for 39, 322 yards and 2 touchdowns. T.Y. Hilton is the man, 10 for 171 and a touchdown. But Philip Dorsett, nowhere to be found. Josh Ferguson, forget about it. Jack Doyle's been on a milk carton for weeks at this point. I mean, they desperately need Dante Moncrief. Frank Gore had 75 yards rushing and has been very good this year. For Chicago, there's a couple of guys that we really need to talk about. Firstly, we're talking about Brian Hoyer, 33 for 43, 397 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Howard, 16 carries, 118 yards, and then he had 45 yards receiving and a touchdown. I mean, that's great stuff. So Jordan Howard is absolutely their guy, and Brian Hoyer is going to keep this job. Brian Hoyer looks terrific at this point. But Cameron Meredith, 9 for 130 and a touchdown, stepped up. Alshon Jeffrey, 5 for 77. Zach Miller, 7 for 73. I mean, the Bears are firing in all cylinders. They get Jacksonville next week at home. Jacksonville's played reasonably well, but this is a winnable game for the Bears. Okay, Tennessee Titans are not a very good offensive team, but anybody's good against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they had 41 rushes for 235 yards yesterday. That's 5.7 yards per carry. That is an enormous number. Marcus Mariota had 3 touchdowns. He also ran for another one in 60 yards. But they have no real receivers. I mean, Rashard Matthews scored and Andre Johnson scored. But after Delaney Walker, this team is a mess. So let's not overrate them. But speaking of messes, Ryan Tannehill is awful. The Dolphins are not running enough plays. Devontae Parker, 2 for 70. Jarvis Landry, 3 targets. Are you kidding me? 3 targets? It's got to be better than that. It's got to be better than that. I mean, Adam Gase may have the shortest career in the history of coaching football because this Miami Dolphins team looks terrible. Now, I don't know what his stamp is on this team, but right now his stamp is, my team sucks. So they've got to figure this out right now. And then they get the Pittsburgh Steelers next week. They're not going to get better when Ben Roethlisberger throws for 400 yards against them. All right. Washington and the Ravens. Mark Trestman was fired today. I'm not sure why. 3-2, he gets fired. I don't know if it's his fault. I mean, Steve Smith gets hurt. Brashard Perriman's young. I mean, Dennis Pitt is old. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing wrong. Terrence West playing well. But, Joe Flacco still getting 46 attempts, but not enough, only 210 yards. I mean, 7 yards an attempt for 30 completions. That's not enough. Terrence West played very well. I really like what I'm seeing with him. Kenneth Dixon did nothing, and I'm a Kenneth Dixon guy, but Terrence West looked terrific. 11 carries, 95 yards. I got my eye on him. For Washington, Kirk Cousins played well enough to win, right? 260 yards and a touchdown. Matt Jones did nothing. But I think it was the receiving. Pierre Garçon, 5 receptions. Reed, 8 receptions. Deshaun Jackson, 3. Crowder, 3. Thompson, 4. I like what they did there. That was good stuff. And I like what they distributed the ball. So I think it's a big game next week. The Eagles at the Redskins. Huge game in that division. The winner of that game could be well on the road to making a playoff. So it's early in the season, but it's a great game. The Houston Texans got battered, and I'm saying battered by the Minnesota Vikings, who are 5-0, 3-0 at home. Sam Bradford, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. McKinnon couldn't run. I mean, they averaged less than 3 yards per carry. But 37 carries, they didn't need to throw the ball. But Adam Thielen looked terrific, 127 yards and a touchdown. Cordarrelle Patterson, 39 yards and a touchdown, 6 targets. So Thielen had 8, Patterson had 6. It was Kyle Rudolph that was a disappointment, 2 for 15. That was a problem. Speaking of problems, Brock Osweiler's got tons of problems. He looks terrible. Terrible. Like the biggest waste of money I've ever seen terrible. Lamar Miller, 8 carries for 20 yards. They had 14 carries for 59 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 5 for 56. I mean, Will Fuller, 1 for 4. Lamar Miller, 1 for 4. So this team is in shambles right now, but they're still 3-2. That's what's so amazing about the Texans. They're 3-2, but it shows you how far away they are from winning a Super Bowl because the Vikings were that much better. The Texans see the Vikings in the playoffs. It's over. Vikings are going to win this game. The Texans have to figure out how to get Miller and Fuller involved. They will do that next week when they play the Colts on Sunday night. All right, the Jets in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger was all-world, 380 yards and 4 touchdowns. Lev Bell, only 20 carries for 66 yards, but he had 9 receptions for 88 yards. I mean, if you have D'Angelo Williams right now, you just got to trade him to the Lev Bell owner and try to get something there. But Sammy Coates was 6 for 139 and 2 touchdowns, and he had a couple of bad drops. He had a couple of very bad drops there, so his day could have been better. Jesse James, 6 for 43, but Sammy Coates is the obvious number 2 receiver there. Marcus Wheaton has fallen off a cliff for as far as I'm concerned. For the Jets, not enough Matt Forte. 12 carries, 53 yards, only had 2 receptions. I mean, we need more Forte. When the Jets were doing well, Forte was involved. He hasn't been involved the last few weeks. Ryan Fitzpatrick looks pedestrian. 255 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Marshall's the only game they got. 8 for 114 and a touchdown. Even Quincy and Nunwood did nothing. 4 for 51. I mean, come on. Got to do better than that. But it seemed like every time that game was on, that Ben Roethlisberger had the football. Time of possession was huge to the Steelers. Speaking of a team that surprised me, the Atlanta Falcons have surprised me absolutely this year. Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman have been a great 1-2 punch. Tevin Coleman, 132 yards receiving and a touchdown. Freeman, 88 yards rushing and a touchdown. Matt Ryan was efficient, 267 and a touchdown. Julio Jones-Roto did nothing. Nothing. Didn't matter. They still won this game. And a very good job by the Falcons defense. Paxton Lynch showed that he was a rookie. I don't know whether this game would have been different with Trevor Siemian, but I'll tell you this. My biggest point of concern, C.J. Ander vomit, 11 carries, 41 yards. He didn't even seem like he was on the field for that many snaps. Now, I know Gary Kubiak's not feeling well. Maybe he was sick on the sideline. But why didn't he put in Anderson? Did he think the offense was going to be predictable with them running the football? Who cares? Who gives a crap? Devonta Booker played way too much for me. I want to see Booker, but only when Anderson is hurt. When Anderson's healthy, I want to see Anderson. Sanders, 7 for 80. Demaryius Thomas, 5 for 49 and a touchdown. But it just wasn't good enough. Okay, speaking of not good enough, the Bengals weren't good enough yesterday. The Dallas Cowboys rammed the football down their throat. 29 carries for 180 yards. That's 6 yards a carry. Ezekiel Elliott, 15 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, do you think he's a first-round pick? I think so. Dak Prescott just wins games. 18 for 24, 227 and a touchdown. Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley doing their thing. Beasley, 53 yards and a touch. Terrence Williams, 70 yards. They play well enough to win. Cincinnati, Andy Dalton had garbage time stuff. Garbage time. Dallas clamped down on A.J. Green, 4 for 50. They really could use Tyler Eifert. Brandon LaFell went 8 for 68 and 2 touchdowns, but that was really junk at the end. Jeremy Hill was hurt, and then 4 for 12. I mean, he was a 0 yesterday, pretty much. Giovanni Bernard looked very good, but you got to get him the ball in space. He was 9 for 50 rushing and 6 for 46 receiving. He played well, but you can't ask him to win that game for you. He's just one player. The Buffalo Bills went on the road and beat the Rams. They beat the Rams up. I'll tell you, Tyrod Taylor, only 12 for 23, 124 yards, but he's winning. Because they're winning because they're running the football with LaShawn McCoy, who looks very good, 18 carries, 150 yards. And they throw the ball well enough, really not very good, but the defense is playing great. I mean, the defense was all over the place, played very aggressively, it was very impressive. It was good to watch. For the Rams, Case Keenum, 21 for 31, 271 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Todd Gurley, 23 for 72, so only 3 yards a carry. Tavon Austin played well, but you need more than Kenny Britt and Brian Quick. They didn't throw the ball to Lance Kendricks at all. They always use the tight end. They didn't. It just seems like the Rams are one offensive player besides the quarterback. They need another receiver to pair with Austin. Britt and Quick are just not good enough. And then San Diego and Oakland. Oakland goes 4-1 on the season. Jack Del Leather Jacket looks very good here. Derek Carr, 25 for 40, 317 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amari Cooper, 6 for 138 and a touchdown. He looked phenomenal. Michael Crabtree, 3 for 47 and a touchdown. Jalen Richard, 8 for 31 rushing, but he had 6 receptions for 66 yards. I think he moved into the second spot there. He's a big playmaker. DeAndre Washington got 1 more carry, and he also got 5 receptions. And he's a good player, but he looks slow compared to Richard. The problem was when they got by the goal line, they really needed Lat Murray. So Lat Murray does have a role in this offense. His role is going to be battering ram by the red zone, inside the 10-yard line, give him the football. He may go like 7 for 18, but get a touchdown every week. For San Diego, Phillip Rivers, 21 for 30, 359 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, he did his Phillip Rivers thing. He always puts up the numbers. Melvin Gordon, 16 for 69, and he had a catch for 18 yards and a touchdown. But I think it was the receivers there. Tyrell Williams, 5 for 117 and a touch. Travis Benjamin had a really good matchup, 7 for 117. Hunter Henry, 3 for 74 and a touchdown. Gates, 4 for 30 and a touchdown. Dontrell Inman, flash in the pan. I really want to see the Chargers go 2 tight ends, Henry, Gates, and then go Benjamin Williams, and that will give them the best chance to win. It really will. All right, so let's look at tonight's game. We've got tonight's big Monday night matchup. The Derek Anderson-led Packers against Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. I think you're going to see fireworks. I thought we were going to see fireworks last night in the Giants-Packers, but I really do think tonight you're going to see the ball flinging around there. No Charles Sims, no Doug Martin, Jaquiz Rodgers. You're not going to run the ball with him that much, but you're going to throw it to him. You're going to throw it to Mike Evans. You're going to throw it to Cameron Brate. I think Jameis Winston should be easily over 300 yards tonight. Easily. I like Mike Evans for 100 yards and a touch. I like Cameron Brate to get a touchdown. For Carolina, Derek Anderson is a very good backup quarterback. I think he goes over 300 yards tonight. I love Kelvin Benjamin to score a touchdown, maybe even 2. I think Greg Olsen has a good enough night, maybe 67 yards and a touchdown. So the question is, can Cameron Artis-Payne do anything? The Bucs have a good run defense, but a lot of guys should be out tonight. Noah Spence, Robert Ayers, Gerald McCoy. So I think these guys may miss the game. If that's the case, I think the Panthers will try to establish the run to take the pressure off Derek Anderson. Panthers should win this one, but look, the Panthers secondary is in shambles. They cut a few guys after last week's debacle, so Mike Evans, really good player, could dominate tonight. I'm looking forward to this one. All right, time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. I want to encourage you to check out scoutfantasy.com. Enter the promo code ROTO, that's ROTO. You pay for 1 month, we'll get you 2 more for free. And you could be winning. You could be a member of the Scout Army. You could be winning in daily. Sean Childs was killing it in daily this week. Our Scout score was amazing. I mean, we had Sammy Coates. We had T.Y. Hilton. We were so on point with our receivers. You would have made a lot of money. So please be a part of what we're doing at scoutfantasy.com. Promo code ROTO. R-O-T-O. Pay for 1 month. Get 2 more absolutely free. All right, guys. We'll be back Tuesday to do our waiver wire preview. So be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!